Wrestling Days Live. We are live for this Wrestling Escape Pod episode. Obviously, this is a little bit different, us being over on the Wrestling Escape Pod channel. But this is something that we do tend to do once in a while. We have done this for the past couple of weeks now. It is just kind of a bit of a lockdown special, if you will. It's not something that I can see us doing like every single weekend. But certainly whilst we're all going through lockdown, whilst we're all kind of bored and we don't really know what to do and we don't know what to watch, and we're kind of just moving from room to room in the same house, slowly going crazy. I thought, we might as well do something over here on this channel. And of course, we have been doing the Wrestling Escape Pod. And I do want to say a big, big thank you to everyone that has been watching and enjoying that, because the feedback has been really, really positive. And I really do appreciate it. I know that I speak to on behalf of Tommy as well when I say that, because honestly, didn't know what to expect with it. I just knew that I wanted to do something with Tommy Toy Travels. And obviously, we've done a few episodes now. They drop every Friday after SmackDown. Brand new episode every single week. And I can tell you that I've already spoke to Tommy. We are recording 2 more episodes this week. So there will be a brand new episode on Friday. And it's going to be funniest moments. The funniest wrestling moments. So what I want your help with is I want to figure out what episode 5 should be about. So we're going to do that in a bit. We're going to talk about what episode 5 should be. The other thing that we need to work out is what show are we watching on Thursday. We've watched a couple of ECW shows, and I've really enjoyed them. If you've been joining us for those watch-alongs, then you will have seen how surprised I've been at how much I've been enjoying those shows. But I have genuinely been really enjoying them. I'm not someone that had watched ECW. I'd heard the hype. The problem with the hype with ECW is you hear the hype, but you also see blood, barbed wire, fire, all this kind of wacky, outlandish kind of hardcore wrestling, which I'm just not that big of a fan. Like, I think there's a place for it, and I think what we saw on Thursday with One Night Stand from 2006, I thought it was done very well. Like, every match was normal, normal as ECW gets. Of course, there was chair shots, things like that, but there were standard matches. But there was just that one match where you had the barbed wire and all that kind of, and it was so outrageous. I kind of felt like it worked, it complemented it. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. But I've got to be honest, I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed that we move away from ECW now, because we did ECW Barely Legal the other week. Last week we did ECW One Night Stand. Might be nice just to have a palate cleanser now, just to kind of have a dip. We've had a lot of the spicy sauce-covered chicken, right? That's what we've been having. Maybe we just need something. There's a bit of melon over there. We could have a little bit of melon instead, or maybe some paella, or maybe we could have some frogois. I don't know. But maybe we could leave the spicy stuff for a little while. But hey, it's going to be up to you. This is what I'm saying. You guys are going to decide. I don't get a chance to decide. It's going to be down to you guys to decide. As well as all of that, we've got the latest wrestling news, wrestling rumours. We are going to be around for a couple of hours. So we've got all of that to decide, all of that to go through. And another thing, I've got Digital Spy, have come out and said these are the 7 things that WWE needs to change if they're going to be successful in the future. So I looked at it, I read it, and I thought, wow, there's some stuff in there that I agree with. There's some stuff that I don't agree with. And I thought that will be really interesting to kind of put this to you guys and see what you think. So we've got wrestling news, wrestling rumors. We've got that 7 things that WWE need to change. We need to vote on the future Wrestling Escape Pod episode topic. We need to vote on what we're watching on Thursday. All of a sudden, you can see why this stream exists, because we've got a lot of stuff to go through. So, hello to everyone that's in the chat. I am going to jump in and say hello to people. I'm not ignoring you. I just wanted to kind of really stress how much stuff we've got to get through today. Yeah, just wanted to go through that as a little introduction. As well as that, I do want to just quickly jump over and just let people know that we are live, which I have now done. And that is it. That is it. We're set up. We're good to go. Hello to Wrestling Days fan. Naz Izzy says, watch Triple H and Shawn Michaels' greatest matches. I think we will be doing that on Tuesday. So, in case you didn't hear, on Tuesday, I think it's on FS1. Now, this is where Backstage is shown. So, if ever you watch WWE Backstage, and I know a lot of you do, it's that channel. It's that same channel. Now, if you type watch FS1 into the Google machine, you know, I'm just going to throw it out there. There might be other ways to watch that channel. So you might be sitting there going, I haven't got FS1. Neither have I. So bear that in mind. Yeah, they're actually going to show the best WrestleMania matches for Shawn Michaels, Triple H, The Undertaker, and John Cena. I think that's going to be like 3-4 hours long. So I kind of looked at it and I thought, well, we could do the NWA stream, and then straight after we could go into doing that stream, because it looks very, very interesting. Like the best WrestleMania matches. It's kind of unusual to see WWE actually putting out this kind of content. Normally they just put out Backstage on FS1. I think they did something similar last week with the women. I seem to recall maybe something to do with Becky Lynch being on FS1 last week. So really am looking at that. I'm 99% sure we're going to do that. So that's all coming up on Tuesday, just before Backstage. So yeah, looking forward to that. What I might do actually is I might skip the first one. I don't want to get in the way of £10 a podcast, because £10 a podcast are our good friends, and I know that they obviously stream straight after the NWA. I've got no interest whatsoever in getting in their way. So what we might do is just miss whatever the first one is. That'll give them a chance to do their stream, and then we like stream after them in a way. So I need to have a look at it. I definitely don't want to step on their toes. So I will have a look at it, and I will get some information out. Of course, we've got Raw coming up as well tomorrow, and that should be a fun show. So looking forward to that. And as we said, we've got all this news to go through. Hello to Miss Clown One. Hello to LSW. Hello to Imtiaz and Jake Wrestle News and Willow's Minecraft and more. We've got APG Juju. We've got Coaster Maniacs. We've got Nails and NY. Nails and NY says, I'm 5 minutes late, but I'm here. You can all stop panicking. Oh, thank God. Oh, I'm so, honestly, I was about to call the police. Day's Tuesday in Texas. Right, I tell you what. Before we get stuck into anything, let's establish what's going into the poll, okay? So start throwing in your suggestions now. There's a couple of caveats here. This is for what we're going to watch on Thursday, okay? So this is what are we going to watch on Thursday. So the caveats are it can't be longer than 3 hours. So we're kind of looking at, in a way, non-WrestleMania shows. I think most of the WrestleManias come in at just over 3 hours. But we can have a look. So, there might be like some WrestleManias, like WrestleMania, I don't know. 5? What is WrestleMania 5? How long is WrestleMania 5? Let me have a look. WrestleMania 5. I do love 5. WrestleMania 5 is 3 hours 40. Maybe there isn't any WrestleManias that are under 3 hours. Well, there we go. Well, this is good, actually, because it'd be very easy to sit here and just watch WrestleManias. But we're kind of like exploring those other shows. It's kind of forcing us to watch shows that we wouldn't normally watch, because I'm pretty sure WrestleMania would probably win the poll every single time. So yeah, get your suggestions in. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for different people to name different shows, like the same show. So I can see there's a lot of people saying like NXT TakeOver, Halloween Havoc, Tuesday in Texas, SummerSlam 94. But what I'm looking for is different people to say. And actually, I've already got one here. This is a perfect example of what I'm looking for. So APG Juju says SummerSlam 94. Okay. Jerry Smith says SummerSlam 94. C Mickey 48 says SummerSlam 94. Right? So there is the man who fell into the river in Lego City, SummerSlam 94. So this is what I'm saying. That is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for different people to name the same shows, and then boom, it goes in the poll. So congratulations. We have checked this one, haven't we? It's not longer than 3 hours, is it? Let me double check, because we've made this mistake before where I've put something in the poll and then it turns out that it's actually longer than 3 hours. SummerSlam 1994 is... Oh, this is tense. Not coming up because you've got to type 1994. I put SummerSlam 94, it didn't find it. Here we go. SummerSlam 1994, 2 hours 48. It's in the poll. SummerSlam 94 is one of the options. That's how you play the game. Right, let's have a look. Let's see what else people are saying. See, Mickey, it's in. It's in. Sasuke saying December to dismember. Swampman, I really wants Tuesday in Texas. Starcade, says Sunny Wolf. SummerSlam 92, Royal Rumble 2000. I feel like I'm playing one of those matching games. That's what I'm playing now. I'm looking to see, is anyone matching? Are there different people asking for the same thing? TakeOver Brooklyn. The Raw that was on at the same time as the final WCW. King of the Ring 98. Big event's been asked for a couple of times, but I think it might be the Wrestling Kid asking for it. Yeah, by the looks of it. King of the Ring 96. Fully Loaded. Royal Rumble 92. Willows is asking for, but yeah, Willow's asking for. You need to get together. You need to group together. I'm just seeing lots of individual requests. Halftime Heat. Hello, Maria. Royal Rumble 2000. Starcade. That might be another. Okay, Sunny Wolf says Starcade. Coaster Maniacs say Starcade. But what Starcade? That's like saying WrestleMania. What one? What Starcade? SummerSlam 92. Royal Rumble 99. Starcade 92, says Sean. Okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit of... Oh, look at this. Sasuke 100k says Royal Rumble 2000. And right after, Jennifer Lockhart says Royal Rumble 2000. Let's have a look. That's what I'm looking for. That's how you win the game. Different people asking for the same shows. Royal Rumble 2000 is on the list. That's how you play the game. That is how you play the game. So Royal Rumble 2000 is on the list, as is SummerSlam 94. There's still 2 spots left. We were getting close with a Starcade. Jerry Smith says Starcade 97. Sonny Wolf says Starcade 92. Starcade 92. Starcade 92 from Sonny Wolf. Starcade 92 from APG Juju. So, Starcade... Hang on, let me look. I get so excited. Starcade 1992. This has had a couple of requests. People were asking for Starcade 1992. Let's have a look. Oh, man, this is tense. This is tense. This is one of the tensest things I do all week. Starcade 92, 2 hours 44. You've got Sting. You got Ron Simmons, Ravishing Rick Rude. You got Ricky the Dragon. You got Mick Foley. Starcade 92 is on the list. So we are now down to one final spot. So far, no ECW this week. No ECW. Bad Blood. Oh, we might have got it. We might have got it. I can see multiple people asking for Bad Blood 2004. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. This could be our final one. It is. It's done. It made it. It made it. Bad Blood 2004. No ECW this week. Breaking news. Breaking news. Right, let's put the poll up. This is going to be, if you go to @WrestlingEpod, if you go to @WrestlingEpod, then you can vote there. So what show do we watch on Thursday? Okay, so is it going to be SummerSlam 94, Undertaker versus Undertaker? Is it going to be Royal Rumble 2000, an Attitude Era Royal Rumble? Is it going to be Starcade 1992, which of course is a WCW show? It's very unusual for us to watch a WCW show. We did it at the weekend. I think that might have been our first one, the final Nitro. But this is Starcade from 1992. Or is it going to be Bad Blood 2004? That poll has gone up right now. The poll is up on Twitter. If you go to @WrestlingEpod, I'm not going to share it on the Wrestling Days account, because if I share it on there, then people that aren't watching this stream are going to vote on it. And I want you guys to be the ones that vote on it, because you are the guys that came up with what should go in. And quick reminder that the poll's up for an hour. And the shows that have gone in are SummerSlam 94, Royal Rumble 2000, Starcade 1992, or Bad Blood 2004. We've had 10 votes. Very, very early. Very early. 10 votes. We've had less than a minute in. And you can see right there, Royal Rumble in the lead. Is it going to focus? Are you going to focus? It's not focusing. Well, you can still make out what's in the lead there. Royal Rumble is clearly in the lead. And 13 votes. Hang on, let me click on it. 13 votes have come in so far. So, yeah, very, very good stuff. Right. Wow. That's a shock, actually. That's a big, big shock, because I was honestly expecting there to be an ECW show. Jerry says, Days, I just voted for SummerSlam 94. Gust is cool. Shout out to you. LSW says, New Orleans Days. There were 7 people asking for that. Oh, I didn't see. I did not see. I'll do you a deal then. NXT New Orleans can go. In fact, we might have seen it. There might already be a watch along. There's got to be a watch along. I think we've already done a watch along for it. If we go on to that, let me have a look. NXT New Orleans Wrestling Days. Can we do another watch along for a show we've already done a watch along of? I don't know. Actually, do you know what? It was 2 years ago, and there might not be a watch along on it. How interesting! Wow, that could be really interesting. Okay, I'm gonna do you a deal. It's gonna make next week's poll. Yeah. So there we go. I'm a fair man. So next week we're gonna do the same next Sunday. But NXT New Orleans is already one of the options for that. So there we go. I'm a fair man. Days, can you please check what Jake has tagged you in on Twitter? Remember how he wants to be a journalist. He's done his first article for Heel by Nature. I'm proud and excited. Oh, okay. Cool. Haven't seen that. Let me try and jump back over. That's amazing. I do remember Jake saying that he wanted to do... Jake, was that written by you? Because I read this article earlier. And where's it say your name, bud? Has it got your name on it? Check out the full usage images. Okay, I'll have to try and explore that a little bit more, but I've retweeted what WrestleNalia has sent me. So there we go. Everyone, tell Jake he's brilliant. Hope you feel better, Maria Days. It's Kane's birthday. Oh, okay, right. Yes, let's. We're nearly 20 minutes in to this stream, and all we've done is establish what the poll's gonna be. So, well, at least we're moving in the right direction. Let's just go through some wrestling news, shall we? So that at least I feel that I'm giving you some worthwhile content. So Sami Zayn, there's reports from Ringside News that Sami Zayn is being very difficult to deal with backstage. Now, apparently he's got an injury at the moment, which is why he wasn't on the show last week. So it's nothing to do with his attitude as to why he was missing. But yeah, apparently, according to them, Ringside News, he's being very difficult to deal with. We have seen him speaking out on social media. He is very opinionated, which obviously is not a bad thing. But he has shown that on social media. And I don't know, maybe it's a case that he's very opinionated backstage as well. Which, as I said, isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I could see it rubbing up people the wrong way. But there's not much in the way of specifics on that, which is why I didn't really do a video on it. Because there's not really any more substance to that other than there's reports that Sami Zayn is problematic backstage, which, you know, may explain why he's never really had the push that we've wanted him to have. Might explain as to why it took him so long to win a title. Might explain why, you know, I know that he's had injury problems and they're a little bit cautious about Sami Zayn, which is why they use him, or have used him largely as a mouthpiece rather than a wrestler. Maybe he's just getting a bit down about all of that as well. So, haven't heard any more on that story. But as we said, I definitely saw that and thought it was quite interesting. The other thing, Otis and Mandy have got a new ride-along episode, which apparently has only just dropped onto the network. And it's all like Otis telling Mandy when he first saw her what he thought. Talking about like when she first walked into the performance center. And you might remember that Otis actually dressed up as Mandy Rose for, I think it was like a Halloween fancy dress battle royal at like an NXT house show. But the pictures went everywhere. So you can actually find pictures of Otis when he was in NXT dressed as Mandy. So those pictures are out there. Days, what would you think about Cena Intercontinental Championship Open Challenge if they were to give it to him? Yeah, I'd like it. I was a big fan of the US Open Challenge. I thought it was a very clever idea. I think it led to some great matches. We saw a lot of NXT talent stepping up and challenging. I remember Sammy. I remember Kevin. I remember actually Tommy mentioned on this exact channel that he was a little bit frustrated that Sammy had faced Cena and Cena had beaten him. I wasn't as disappointed, if I'm being honest, because I think that Cena is very much the mountaintop. So someone coming up from NXT and beating Cena straight away is, do you know what I mean? I mean, that is a big, big statement. It's hard to know where you go after that, in all fairness, you know. It really establishes you as a, you know, a big, big star. I totally understand that, but I never expected them to beat Cena. But I just was hoping for good matches, and that's very much what we got out of that open challenge thing. So Yeah, I would like him to get the IC title, make him a Grand Slam champion, and then maybe bring back the Open Challenge thing. The only downside is that I don't see Cena wanting to work a full-time schedule again. So I'm not expecting him to be on Raw or SmackDown week after week after week. But yeah, it would be a good idea. They could still do it for someone else. It wouldn't have to be Cena, but he should get the IC title, because even if I don't know that he should beat Ric Flair's World Heavyweight Championship record. Records are there to be broken, but I kind of like the idea that Cena and Ric Flair are tied right now, and then someone else can come and break it. So totally fine with someone breaking it. Maybe it doesn't have to be Cena, but I don't see any reason why you don't give him the Intercontinental Championship. It could be a really interesting story, actually. He could like join the Funhouse after what happened at WrestleMania. So what happened at WrestleMania is we believe that he has now turned heel. We believe this is going to be a different John Cena following what happened to him at the WrestleMania event and in that Funhouse match. What if Bray wins like one of the big titles, and then Cena, as his right-hand man, wins the IC title, and then they could control like two of the big championships on one of the shows? Again, Cena's not going to be around that long. You wouldn't see that much of him, but I think you could get enough out of it to make it a very interesting story around, say, SummerSlam or something like that. But the crowds have got to be back for these stories. You can't run these stories without a crowd. You need that reaction. I'm here watching Kevin and Perry go large. Amazing. Favorite commentators, NXT. So, legit, I think that Nigel McGuinness, Mauro Ranallo. I tell you what I like. I like commentators that call the moves. Now, I don't think that's seen as important. And actually, this brings us to Jake Wrestle News' article. Because Jerry Lawler, on his podcast, came out and said the reason why he made that comment on commentary. You might have seen, what did he call it? The Ramon Noodle Moonsault. Okay? And people took offense to that. He said that he was kind of more making fun at the fact that he doesn't know what moves are called. Like, you know, he's hearing about these triple planchas and this tiger bomb and stuff like this. And he's like, I don't know what these moves are. This is like, you know, all these crazy names have passed me by. So someone did this move. And he just was like, oh, look at that. It's the Roman Noodle Moonsault. And he claims that he was hoping someone would jump in and go, actually, it's the blah, 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 blah. You know better than that, King, or something along those lines. But apparently no one followed up with that, and it just kind of got left hanging there, and the conversation moved on, and he said he didn't think any more of it. I have to be honest, I never heard it when it aired live, because I always have to have the sound down. But if I had heard it, I personally wouldn't have been offended. I took no offense to it at all. I was kind of, I don't know if I ever sent the tweet out, but I did actually write a tweet saying that if I was a wrestler and I did a move that the commentators made fun of, maybe I didn't execute it properly or something like this, and maybe they called it the English muffin clothesline, or do you know what I mean? They played on the fact that I was from England. It would not bother me in the slightest. I personally, and it's a personal thing, it wouldn't bother me. I'd find it funny. Do you know what I mean? The Queen of England backdrop or something, I don't know. It just wouldn't have bothered me. So, I know that some people were offended, and I totally understand that. But it was very interesting hearing him come out and say as to why he had said it. And the reaction has kind of been, people are now back on his side. It's really weird, man. If people think something offensive has happened, they'll jump on it. But then as soon as like he comes out and explains it, a good portion of them will go, yeah, no, I didn't think it was offensive in the first place. No, it's I take people overreact. It's just Twitter just seems to react to the moment, like whatever's happening there and then. Just gotta react. Everything's gotta have a reaction. Yeah, as I said, it was what it was, and he's come out and he's explained it. But going back to your original question, I really like the wrestlers that do explain those moves. I am a fan of people that tell me if it's a tiger bomb or these kinds of things, because if you're a passionate wrestling fan, you kind of want to be in the know, don't you? Or I do. I want to know what moves does that wrestler use. So, this move tends to lead into this, or this is the setup for this. Like how Sasha Banks will do the backstabber and she'll go into the bank statement. Well, you kind of want to know that stuff. Like, as soon as she's going for that backstabber, I know that she's going for the bank statement. And you can start to see those patterns with other wrestlers as well. So that's just part of wrestling that I enjoy. It's part of the storytelling of wrestling. Very much like, how Charlotte was working on Rhea Ripley's legs at WrestleMania. She was working on the knees so that when she puts on the figure 4 and then bridges into the figure 8, it's going to have like a bigger effect. Well, you need to know that. If you're not a wrestling fan, that might have been lost on you. You might not know kind of what she was doing, but obviously we saw it. And the way that it was all playing out and everything, and that was my favourite actual match at WrestleMania for that reason. So if I didn't know about like the figure 4, the figure 8, and things along those lines, which of course you would, but then I feel like I'd be missing a lot in those matches. So it's always good to know what people are using, what new moves are being brought in. Obviously, we're seeing Kevin Owens using the stunner now. So yeah, anyone that like really draws attention to the different moves, I'm really into. And I think Mauro Ranallo does that, gives you backstory, gives you passion as well. You don't get that so much from like Michael Cole. Michael Cole is a bit more robotic. You know that he's being told exactly what to say, and it's not his fault. It's not his fault. He's just doing what he's being told to do. I think Michael Cole, I heard him calling the matches on like the Mae Young Classic or something. I can't remember if it was Mae Young Classic. I think it was. He was really good. Michael Cole was really, really good. But it was because he didn't have Vince in his ear. You take Vince out of the ear of the commentators and who knows what they can do, so... Sunny Wolf says, favourite takeout food, favourite novels, favourite movie sit. Wow, dude. That's a lot of questions. Days, I've come to the conclusion that I'm unable to watch your streams without having an ice cold glass of Coke. Fair play. The knockout punch from Lacey says, yeah, that's another good one, Coaster Maniacs. Yeah, kind of the setups for all of that. Plus, it's just really cool to know some. Do you know what I mean? Rather than, there's a lot of people that watch these streams as well. Not these ones, more the watch-alongs when we're watching Raw and things like that. And obviously, we heard from Brandy Smith, who's blind and is part of our community. So we heard from her, and like she was saying that she really appreciates how descriptive we are when we're doing these, because of the fact that she obviously can't see the matches, so she's not seeing what's going on screen. She relies on the commentary. Now, if the commentary are not giving her descriptive moves and are not describing what's happening, she's missing out. She's absolutely missing out. So I really feel like that it's important. Plus, you've got people that are at work that can't see, There might be people that are like walking around patrolling, doing security jobs, or sat in their little security thing and they've got like the stream on in the background or whatever, but they can't actually watch because they haven't got USA. Do you know what I mean? They haven't got USA, they haven't got Fox. There's no way to actually watch the wrestling, but they can get onto the YouTube, they can get onto their phones, go to YouTube, and then they've got our watch along. So those people as well, who I know exist, I've had those people contact me telling me that they join us. So many people, that join us that don't comment because they just listen, and for different reasons. They might be at work, like Brandy, you know, might have some form of disability or something. So, yeah, those are my favourite commentators, and that's why I think it's so important that they do talk about the moves. But WWE just never seemed to put that importance on it, you know. Days, if Finn was to win the UK title, would he not be on Wednesday nights anymore? Honestly, I think he would. I mean, if he was to win the UK title, I think you would just see the UK title on NXT quite a bit more. NXT UK just does a taping once a month. So they would fly Finn over to the UK for that weekend. For those 2 days, he would record, 8 shows, and then he'd fly back. Him being like UK champ really is no insignificance at all. It just needs a weekend every month. And then, every couple of months, I think, actually. I don't even think it's every month. I think they record every 2 months. So, and they do about 8 episodes every 2 months. So, it's nothing. Do you know what I mean? He could, if he's NXT UK champ, then it's just another title that you're going to see on NXT on a regular basis. Most emotional wrestling moments could be the next episode. That's a good shout. Nail says, brilliant describing everything. I don't even watch Raw and SmackDown. I just watch you. And if you get overly excited, then I check the YouTube clips. Shout out to you, Nails and NY. Yeah, really, really appreciate the support. And it's a passion of mine. It is genuinely a passion. I don't know like all of the moves. I've got a decent knowledge of moves, but I would say pretty much once a week, if not even more regular than that, I will see something that I don't know. And I do try to go back and listen to the commentary on it, but I've got to tell you, I've kind of got to the point where I've stopped now going back and trying to check certain moves because they never call them. They do if it's NXT, and this is why I love Mauro Ranallo. If it's NXT, then that's why I love them. But if I see someone on SmackDown and go, whoa, what was that? And I check the YouTube clip on it to specifically find that move, it'll be he was spiked or he got planted or something. Do you know what I mean? Something very generic along those lines. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing. Dave, SmackDown had just over 2 million viewers. That's all right. It's all right. I think at this time it's okay. They're saying it's a very different show at the moment. I know there was questions asked of Vince as to why the ratings were so poor. And he said it's a different show. You can't compare this to normal wrestling. Normal wrestling, you know, the show starts, you've got a big crowd, you've got the signs, you've got the excitement, the enthusiasm. Well, here you go to a completely empty arena. Do you know what I mean? It's a different feel. Like, you're starting to hear, and Brandy said this in her interview the other day, you can really hear now what the wrestlers are saying to each other during the matches, and I do think that's a very fun little aspect that you don't normally hear. Obviously, they're normally calling spots. They can't do that now. And do you know, when you think about how much has had to change, it is mind-blowing, because now they can't call spots unless they're, like, properly whispering it, like, right, clothesline, drop toe, hold takedown, yeah, and then we'll go into the finish. Unless they're doing something along those lines, so that they know, right, clothesline, drop toe, takedown, into the finish, then we're done. That's what they normally do when they're calling matches. And you can't do that now, because now you can hear a pin drop. So they're having to like, I hate you and your daughter and stuff like this, rather than actually calling the matches. So this is what I'm saying. Everything's different. Right, let's go and have a look at the poll. I can see Coaster Maniacs saying, look at the poll. Look at the poll. Wrestling Days fan says Total Bellas. Well, I can tell you, we've got 63 votes in, which isn't bad actually for 20 odd minutes. So I think there's a good chance this poll is going to have over 100 votes in total. So far, by a country mile, we could be watching a Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble 2000, 41%. There we go. Royal Rumble 2000, 41%. So, boom. It's in the lead. It can easily get changed. But, yes. Vote away. Vote away. Days, Vince is high on Cow Bloom. Yes, I've got that written. In fact, look, without even writing anything, I'm going to show you so that you know that I'm telling the truth. Right there. Cow Bloom. Wayne Bloom, son. Boo. Look, these are my talking points that I had written down. Sami Zayn, difficult to deal with. Otis and Mandy on Ride Along. Cow Bloom. Wayne Bloom's son. No Way Jose is going to change his character. We've got Nikita Koloff in Retromania Wrestling. And there's a 2K announcement tomorrow. And then down there is the Digital Spy 7 things that we're going to talk about. So, yes, I've got it written down. You're ruining everything! We will get to it. He's skimming over my questions. I put them all together to make it easier to read. I'm just trying to answer as much as I can. If you want to drop them in individually, then I will try and answer them. Days, if you could repackage Ricochet, how would you? I think that what they've done with him, putting him into a tag team with Cedric Alexander, is a decent move. I think that they look good together. I think that, like, I love their ring attire. Like, the yellow and black really stands out on their ring attire. And they just need a great team name. Like, I wasn't joking when I said they need to be called something like the Killer Wasps. I feel like the Killer Wasps is a great name because we had the Killer Bees in the 1980s. So why not just update it, call them the Killer Wasps? They've got the yellow and black ring attire. They're high flyers. I think that would be great. Or, you know, anything along those lines. Anything you wanted to go with. And then I think they could be a really good tag team. They could win some tag titles. I think that's fine for Ricochet this year. I don't think they've got any plans to do anything else with him. But then he can hopefully, from there, go off and have a nice little solo run after it. Because I do think he deserves to be a big star, solo-wise. In fact, they both do. And in fact, you could just keep building them up throughout 2020. And then in 2021, they split up. Cedric Alexander versus Ricochet matches. The Killer Wasps collide. The Killer Wasps collide. So yeah, I'd keep down on this road. I think it's all right. I think it's all right. I'm still in the hospital. Shout out to you, Maria. Nails, yes, I saw. I'll try and answer them as they come through. Days, how many subs do you want? Not bothered. I'm not really fussed on this channel. I mean, I'd be lying if I wasn't to say that I would love to try and get to 1 million in my lifetime on Wrestling Days channel. But it's so far away that it's not anything that we ever talk about, or it's not really a focus. But I think it's always good to kind of set yourself a goal. And the goal for the channel was 100,000. I really wanted to get that play button. And I just kind of thought, like, could I do it? Could I share my thoughts about wrestling and have conversations with people and go on Twitter and, you know, just kind of interact with the community? Could I do that to a point where, you know, 100,000 people would care what I say? Or not even care, but, you know, listen. Let's put it that way. Maybe not care, but at least listen. And the fact that the channel achieved that is, I kind of feel like it's already done beyond what I ever expected. Well, I mean, yeah, that's an understatement. Well beyond what I ever expected. But, I mean, like, the next little plaque thing you get is when you get to, like, 1 million. And, yeah, just in my lifetime. I mean, hopefully I'll be around long enough for the channel, the Wrestling Days channel, to just keep growing. And who knows? I don't know. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll stall. Perhaps it'll start going backwards. I don't know. If it does, I honestly feel like it's already well achieved, more than I ever expected. And I genuinely mean that. So, no, it'd be great if it got to 1 million. If it doesn't, with Wrestling Escape Pod, no. This another example of overachieving and well beyond what we were expecting. honestly thought a couple of hundred people might join us for these episodes. Obviously, Tommy has been away for a long, long time. And I'm not known for doing podcasts. I've never done a podcast. I'm known for interaction. Do you know what I mean? I'm known for this kind of stuff where we chat. And yeah, of course, theory videos and breaking news, things along those lines. Figure videos and toy hunts and things like that. But again, not a podcast. So this is it's 50 odd minutes long. It's 50 minutes long, and it doesn't have the interaction. It doesn't have figures to look at. No way could we have expected the first episode to be at nearly 2,000 views, the second episode to be over 1,000, the newest episode to be, I think it's at 600 already or something like that after a day or a couple of days. So it looks like that could, sneak up to the 1,000 mark. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant. Favorite movies. Okay, let me blast through these then, Sonny, because you do keep asking. Here we go. Favorite movie series. Favorite movie series. I want to be honest with you, so I'm trying to think. Why isn't any sticking in my? I do love the Rocky films. I do love the Rocky films. Is that my favorite? I mean, I do like horrors. I do like Nightmare on Elm Street, but I would put Rocky over Nightmare on Elm Street. The first Rocky film is one of my all-time favorite films. The second Rocky film, where they carry on the story, I thought was great. In fact, I liked them all. I liked them all. I know people didn't like the final ones, but I did. And I really liked Rocky Balboa. I thought that was great. And even the Creed series as well. I've enjoyed both of those. So I feel like I want to say that, but I feel like there might be some comedy films that I'm missing. Like Police Academy. I love Police Academy. I was always a fan of those. I'm gonna stick with Rocky, and if I can think of anything else, then I'll change it. But Police Academy would be up there as well. I'm just having a look to see if I've got any box sets or anything. Okay, I'll stick with that because you've got some other questions. Novels, I don't read them. It's a flaw of mine, but I just don't read books. I've got some wrestling books that I read, but I never read fiction. I'm not really a fiction. Isn't that weird that I'm not a fiction person? I love documentaries. I love documentaries. So like anything that's based on real life, like Tiger King, I loved. Dark Side of the Ring. I've been watching the old series 1 of that because there was a lot of series 1 that I hadn't seen, so I've been watching back on those. But yeah, I love documentaries. So I've never read Harry Potter. I've never read Lord of the Rings. I've never read I've never read any fiction book. Let's put it that way, or at least not that I can think of, unless I was made to at school. So novels, completely out of my comfort zone. What's this? Favorite wrestling figure? The Finn Balor Ultimate Edition. Favorite YouTuber? Well, the person that inspired me the most was Tommy Toy Travels, and I'm honest about that. So I would go with Tommy. I think Tommy had the biggest effect on me. So I'll go Tommy. Favorite takeout food? Don't really have one, to be honest. I love fish and chips. I love, although funny, when I go to the fish and chip shops, we do have fish and chip shops everywhere in the UK. And when I go to the fish and chip shop, I never have fish and chips. I always have doner meat and chips, like doner kebab meat. I love kebab meat, doner kebab meat. So I tend to have that in like a nice pit of bread with chips and things like that. So, yeah, I never actually have fish and chips, but that's what I have from the fish. We still call it the fish and chip shop. Yeah, I always tend to have that. So I do like that. Obviously pizza, everyone loves that. Of course, curries, like that's the national dish here in the UK. We love curries. So Indian food's amazing. I ain't got a favourite. I haven't got a favourite. I just keep rotating round. It depends what I fancy at that time. So, favourite season? I don't know. Summer's brilliant, but then I can find it's too hot sometimes. But then winter's too snowy and too cold. Autumn, I suppose, is spring. Spring's pretty cool. I don't know. How do you answer these questions? How do you answer your favourite season? I can see pros and cons to all of them. I'll go summer. Because when I'm thinking of summer, I'm thinking that's when most events are on, you know? That's when your big outdoor events happens. That's when your festivals are on, and things along those lines. So, some of my favourite summers are some of my favourite memories. I remember, actually, funny story, I broke my leg in 2000... No, I didn't. It was my ankle. I don't want people to think I actually broke my leg, but it was still my leg. I had to have it in a cast, like the bottom part of my leg, because I'd broke my ankle. And that was in 2005. And I was at work when it happened. I think I might have told this story on a previous stream, but I was at work and the manager came in. And he was like, right, it's a big day. It's the sale day today. So our big sale is starting. And it was all like Hawaiian themed. I don't know why. Not a clue why. Right, we're in the middle of Birmingham in the UK, right? And for some reason in a music shop, it's Hawaiian themed. Yeah? So it's like, I've got about 4 like Hawaiian hula skirts if anyone wants to wear them. You don't say that to your boy, yeah? And expect me to pass up that opportunity. So I went running down towards his office to be one of the 4 to wear the hula skirt. And little did I know that there was a wet floor. No sign, by the way. No sign. Slipped on the wet floor. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the person on the actual wet floor sign. You know, where they're like, wah! Did one of them. Wah! Went crashing into this wall. Legit broke my ankle, and that was me out for the summer. I was out of work. Not out of work. They paid because they knew it was their fault because they didn't put a wet floor sign down. Now, granted, I shouldn't have been running, but I think if I was to go to any court in the land and explain why I was running, I would win that case. Yeah, if I went into a court and I said I was running down the corridor because there was only 4 Hawaiian skirts left and I was not being left out. Then the judge would go, I totally see your point of view. And then you win, or whatever they say. Overruled. And, yeah, so I broke my ankle. I didn't sue them or anything like that, because they were kind enough to pay for me to be off, you know. So I was off work. I had lots of people saying you should sue them. You'd get like 10, 12,000. I'm not bothered. I wasn't interested in that. I loved the company, so I didn't want to I didn't want to go against the company. So I didn't. But I had a great summer. And that's one of my favourite summers, because there was just great music that came out in 2005. And so I was just going to a few little gigs, not big venues, because obviously I couldn't, but just going to those like little intimate venues, you know, where there's like an up and coming band and they're playing like in the nearest city, and you're like, yeah, I quite fancy going to that. Well, I just did it. I just went to all these gigs where there was these little up and coming bands. I think that was that when I saw Block Party. I might have seen Block Party in a room with like 80 other people. But yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, I loved it. So a long answer, but I'm gonna go with summer. Favorite drink? I feel like Coke's quite versatile, so let's go with that. Clothing, clearly, I've got no fashion, so I can't answer to that. Would you come to Canada after the pandemic? I was in Canada before the pandemic. I have been to Toronto twice, and I love Toronto. I've been to Niagara Falls, and I've been to Toronto. I would love to go back to Toronto, actually, because I just thought it was just a brilliant city. It had a very, like, American feel. Like, you know, massive shopping centres and everything. And just, like, these, the grid system on the streets and everything. It felt very American to me. But it wasn't as busy. And they had this big underground kind of system. You could get around the city underground. It was really, really cool. We don't have really anything like that other than like the train system. But this wasn't the train system in Toronto. It was like walkways, just walkways where you can walk along the main high street and go up. And yeah, it was really weird, but it was really cool. So there you go, Sonny. Are you happy? Are you happy now? I live in Toronto, says Dom15. I'm amazed there's still people here, to be honest, after the amount of time that it took me to answer all of those. Right, let's have a look at the welcome to this wrestling stream, by the way, people. This non-stop wrestling stream. Let's jump back over and have a look at the poll. The poll is... We're at 71 votes. If you want to vote, then make sure that you jump over to @WrestlingEpod. We've got just over 20 minutes to go. 21 minutes. And Royal Rumble is at... Royal Rumble 2000 is still well in the lead. Now, we all know there's people sitting there that are just waiting to cast their vote at the final. It always happens. I would be doing the same. So there's no guarantee that Royal Rumble is going to be winning that, but it's certainly in a good place so far. Dante says, I hate Toronto. The best series is the Wrestling Days YouTube channel. Shout out to you, Jerry. John says, what is your favourite match ever? Mine is Michaels Undertaker 26. Mine would be 25. I just thought 25 as a match for me. I don't know if it's because 25 was the first of the two, and they did so much in that parts of 26 kind of felt not repetitive. I mean, 26 is still one of the best matches ever. Don't get me wrong. But I always say 25. Very interesting that you say 26, though. And it does make sense because, of course, that was Street versus Korea. So the stakes were so much bigger. So, yeah, totally get it. But I tend to say 25. Can we please vote for SummerSlam 94? Doctor Who is Beast. Shout out to you. Coaster Maniacs. Shout out to you. Sunny Wolf says, I've been to Niagara Falls, Montreal, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland. Newfoundland. Why? I don't understand how it's Newfoundland when it's clearly spelt Newfoundland. How are they getting away with that con? How have the people of Newfoundland convinced the world that it's actually pronounced Newfoundland? How are they doing this? Because Finland isn't spelt that way, so why should Newfoundland claim to be spelt that way? Do you know what? It makes me angry. It's an absolute disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. And I, for one, don't believe they should be getting away with this nonsense. So, people of Newfoundland, yeah, I'm on to you. Totally on to you. In other news, Cal, I don't know if you've heard, Cal Bloom, son of Wayne Bloom, who was Boo Beverly, out of the Beverly Blubber. I can't even talk now. There's too many B's. Too many B words. We've got Bloom. We've got Boo. We've got Beverly. Brothers. Well, just put all that into a sentence that makes sense. But Cal Bloom, who we saw taking on Sheamus the other day on SmackDown. He was a jobber. He's actually a son of a Beverly brother. Apparently, the word is that they are really hot on him. They really like him. They see him as being a big prospect. I think he's about 6'5", so he's got a good height to him. He's got a decent look. They seem to be thinking that he could be a bit like a new Edge. That's what I read. And they liked him so much that they put him in that match against Sheamus so that Vince could see him. And apparently the feedback from Vince was that he liked what he saw. So, I mean, I gotta be honest, I saw that match and didn't pay it a great deal of attention because I was probably playing a game of Name the Jobber at the time. But, yeah, they're really hot on him, so they seem to think that he could be one for the future. I mean, we've already spoken about Dexter Lumis quite a bit on this channel because obviously we've watched those NWA shows where Sam Shaw was competing, and I know that he was Sam Shaw in Impact, but I don't watch Impact, so I only know him from NWA. And anyway, fast forward, he's Dexter Lumis now, and I think he's freaking awesome. I really, really like him in NXT, so Dexter Lumis is someone that I'm very intrigued by. Can't wait to see what they do with him, so... The Beverly Brothers. Yes, the Beverly Brothers. DJ B Tazzy says, a new Edge. I like that. Well, there we go. No Way Jose says that he's going to come out with a more serious character now that he has left WWE. So, No Way Jose said that he enjoyed his time in WWE, but now he wants to show a different side. So, no more conga lines or anything like that. And actually, he was on Twitter thanking everyone. He thanked everyone that had featured in the conga line. And I saw that Zaya Brookside from NXT UK said that that was the first thing she ever did in WWE, was she got to be in a No Way Jose conga line at an NXT house show. And so she thanked him for, that opportunity and whatever. So I should imagine there was a lot of up-and-coming talent that was used in No Way Jose conga lines. Very similar to the Rosebuds and Adam Rose, and you look at them now and it's like Becky and Braun and Simon Gotch and all these different people that have been in the Rosebuds. As well, we've got Nikita Koloff, friend of the Insiders Wrestling podcast. Nikita Koloff is in Retromania Wrestling. This is a brand new game that's coming out this year. It will be on PlayStation 4. It will be on Xbox One. It will be on the Switch. It is on the PC. So it's going to be on all of your favorite gaming devices. But what's really exciting is that it uses the NWA Power Studio. We've spoken about this quite a bit. Nick Aldis, the Real World's champ, is in the game. I think Road Warriors are in the game as well. Hawk and Animal. They've got Colt Cabana in the game. Nikita Koloff is in the game now as well. And there's still a couple of spots left. So it's a little bit of a strange roster. There's some legends. There's some current stars. John Morrison's in the game because he signed with them before he went back to WWE. So, John Morrison is in the game. I don't know what he's under the name as. He might be under the name Johnny Nitro or something. But yeah, this game looks great. It's the follow-on to WrestleFest, that classic, 90s arcade game, the early 90s. So, I'm really excited for this. And seeing Nikita Koloff getting added after that amazing Insiders interview, I thought was a lot of fun. And 2K tomorrow are announcing their future relationship with WWE. So it could be that 2K are actually going to announce that they're done with WWE. It could be that WWE have ended the license agreement with them. That's just me speculating, but they said they've got some information to share on the future of the WWE 2K franchise, and also some exciting news. Right now, people seem to think that the exciting news is going to be a return of SmackDown versus Raw kind of games, and it might. But I've got to be honest, I think that it's more likely that WWE have pulled the plug. It's more likely that WWE looked at the disaster that was last year's game, 2K20, and they've gone, we're not having our name associated with a subpar product like that, and they've taken the license away. And it could be that they're currently looking to give that license to someone else. So it wouldn't surprise me if 2K come out and say our relationship with WWE has ended. The exciting news is NBA 2K21 will be released on September. Do you know what I mean? It really, really would not surprise me if that's what's going to happen. I don't know who would own the rights to the SmackDown versus Raw game series, because those weren't made by 2K. I can't remember who made those. I want to say THQ, but I could be wrong. And I normally am. In fact, I'm going to Google it. I don't want to sit here and be spouting rubbish. But I don't know if they can use that name. I don't know if they can use SmackDown versus Raw in a gaming kind of... Let's have a look. Yes, it was THQ! Guys, make sure you come in here for all your gaming news, because I know everything. So, well, look, we're going to have to wait and see. It was THQ! It's the sound of the police! I never play any video games. Wow. 2K could make the AEW game? Jake, yes, you're right. You're right. The news, you're very right. The news could be, we regret to inform that our relationship with WWE has come to an end. But the exciting news is we will be releasing an AEW game on... You're absolutely right. It could be something along those lines. I've got to say, I really was excited when 2K got the license to WWE games, because I've heard a lot. I'm not a big gamer, right? But I've heard a lot of good stuff about like NBA 2K and the other, like, do they do a baseball one as well? The 2K library of sports games seems to be held in quite high regard. So when WWE was added in, you kind of go, wow, yes, this is going to be amazing. The problem for me was they were boring. I just found that whenever I played them, I never had that urge to keep playing. And I could be on my own. This is just me telling you my experience. But as a wrestling fan, you know, I was not picking up those games going, oh, this is amazing. I want to work through this story. I just picked it up and it was like so intricate, and I just found it boring. I just got bored. And the reversals button and everything, I was like, no. I really feel like they need to completely change the whole gameplay. Completely change the whole gameplay. Just go in a completely different direction. I would love it to be more arcadey. I've said this before. I'd love for it to be like All Stars or Legends of WrestleMania. The gameplays on those weren't brilliant, but just big, fun, cartoony. That's what we want, you know? You just want to have fun. Well, we'll see, won't we? We'll see what they're coming out with. Right, we are into our final hour. So in this hour, we will hopefully find out what we're going to be watching along on Thursday. So we've still got that to find out. We need to figure out, as soon as that's done, what the next topic is going to be for the Wrestling Escape Pod, episode 5. Obviously, episode 4 is Friday, and you guys already voted for it. Funniest moments. And what I want to do in this hour is I want to find out some of your favourite funniest moments, and the top ones that I like, that I think were really cool, will be added into the podcast. I'll make sure to give you a shout out as well. So, funniest moments we're going to discuss in this next hour. And we're also going to discuss that 7 things from Digital Spy. So, we've got all of that to look at. What we need to do, though, is we've got 8 minutes. 8 minutes till this poll ends for the watch-along. So, what we need to do now is we need to figure out what the topics for episode 5 could be, and I'm looking to do this the exact same way as we do the watch-along stuff. So with the watch-alongs, I'm looking for people to say the same things, and then that could be what goes into the poll, and we'll set a brand new poll up for what episode 5 should be. So start firing in your new topics. Fire in your new topics. Titus World Slide absolutely is going in as well, by the way, yes. Titus World Slide. That was amazing. That was so good. R-Truth gets blowed up. Well, hang on, we're doing the wrong things here. We're looking at topics first. let's do the topics first. What topics are going to go into the poll for Wrestling Escape Pod number 5? Best worst factions, most surprising moments. It's very good. Dream matches, most successful jobbers. Oh, I love that. I love that. Worst wrestling burials, best Vince moments, says Jake Wrestle News. Again, try and get some other people to share your favourite belts. I'd love to make that. Oh, I'd love to make that one. Best factions, says Cameron. Best Vince moments. Worst gimmicks. Best factions. Best faction. We've got a couple for best factions. So best factions has gone onto the poll. Best factions. Sonny, I'll try and get to those in a sec. Best returns. We've got 3 for best returns. Best returns. These are great. These are great suggestions. Most overrated wrestlers, says Chris. Fantasy booking. Best factions. Best factions is in, Jason. Made it. Best reversals, says John. Oh, now you're talking my language. After what Brandy said, wrestling books. Best wrestling trolls. That little girl's reaction after Miz cashed in. Yeah, Miz, what's she called? Miz Girl. Is it Miz Girl? Face like thunder. The Miz and John Cena one day. Best feuds, pay-per-views that are over. Best Ronda Rousey moments. Fantasy booking. Most surprising debuts. Best submissions. I love that, William. That's great. NWO. Best wrestling finishes. Best cash-ins. Best wrestling video games. Woo! I tell you, some good ones here. Best theme songs, says John. Have we had theme songs? Ooh, yeah. You guys love best, don't you? I'm surprised that there's not more worsts. Best theme songs has made it. So far, best factions, best returns, best theme songs. We need one more, and then we will be able to put the poll up, and then this will be our final poll of this stream. We've got 4 minutes left on our first poll, so we need one more. Let's have a look. Worst theme songs. Worst, now all the worsts are coming in. Best belts. I do like best belts. Worst managers. Best cash-ins. Best cash-ins wins. I can see that Jake and Monica King have both asked for best cash-ins. There we go. Done. So the options are going to be best factions, best returns, best theme songs, best cash-ins. Don't forget, this week it is, you voted for it, funniest moments. So that'll be on Friday, and then the week after will be one of these that you guys are about to vote for. Just going back over to the poll. I'm not going to put that up until this one is finished, and we've just got 3 minutes left. 3 minutes left. What are we watching on Thursday? Get your votes in. There's 2 minutes to go. We're at 91 votes, so this has already snuck up to nearly 100 votes. Can I just remind you as well, this is a brand new Twitter account, and we're at nearly 100 votes on this brand new Twitter account. It's incredible that so many of you have jumped over to vote on this. But there we go. Look, Royal Rumble 2000, 41%. SummerSlam 94 at 27. 2 minutes to go. That should get to over 100 votes in the end. So, exciting. I love this. Right, okay. We've got, let me just jot that down. Shock Master by James. We will get to the funniest moment suggestions in a second. Let me just try and jump back quickly to answer the next set of Sunny Wolf questions whilst we're waiting for that to finish. I've got a minute. Okay. Favourite Halloween costume? We don't really... When I was growing up, Halloween was not really a thing here in the UK. It's kind of grown a bit more, but it's still nothing compared to what you guys do. But it has definitely grown a little bit more. I think that the funniest costumes I like are the ones where, like, you are the legs of, say, the horse, and then, like, your head looks like the person riding it or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, where you're wearing it, but it looks like it's something completely different. Like, it looks like a horse with someone sat on the back, but it's actually just a costume and someone inside. Like, they make me laugh. They always make me laugh. I don't know why. Can you get ones that inflate as well? Can you get inflatable? I don't know. But I've seen, like, quite a few of those. There was, oh my God, there was one that was so funny. I went and saw the Harlem Globetrotters, and their mascot is hilarious. Hilarious. He is so funny. I think it's a globe. I think he's called Globey, and he's this big globe that comes out like this, right? And as the music's playing, he, like, wiggles down, and the way he wiggles down, it, like, all crunches down into nothingness, and then somehow he manages to, like, pop back up again. And he's just like, he does it, and he, like, oh, it's so funny. I cannot describe how funny he is. You have to see it live. But he is obviously just a guy in, like, an inflated costume. So any of those kind of costumes make me laugh. I don't know why. Have you ever had pet ducks? No, but we do have a pond, and there are ducks that go into that. So they're not pet ducks, but there are ducks around. Do you like snakes, tarantulas? I wouldn't say I liked them. I'm not sure that I would be too freaked out by them, to be honest. I mean, obviously, if the snakes are going to be deadly, then I'm going to be concerned. But, no, like, we don't have poisonous snakes. Well, there's one, the adder. The adder is a poisonous snake here in the UK, but I've never seen one. I wouldn't even know what it looked like. So, and I live in the countryside. So, no, but we're quite good for not having, like, big scary creatures here in the UK, and I'd love to keep it that way. So, yeah, I'm all right around them, mainly because I've never been around them. Favourite horror film series? I do love Nightmare on Elm Street. Favourite place that you've travelled to? Well, I mean, I love Florida. I love New York. I love Toronto. But you know what? It's going to be a bit weird. There's a place in Poland called Wrocław, and it's not like... It's really weird because it is what you think when you think Poland. When you think Poland, you think, like, big blocks of flats. You think, like, maybe a lot of concrete and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it is that, but it's very old and very, like... The centre is stunning. Like, the actual centre of this city, I think it's like the third biggest city in Poland. And went there, and the architecture is incredible. In the city, it's incredible. Outside, where people live, it's kind of what you would think Poland would be. A lot of concrete, a lot of big blocks of flats and things like that. I'm sure there are nice places as well. But I'm just saying that when I went there, what I saw in the city centre completely changed my opinion of Poland. Right or wrong, you know, you have perceptions of places, and so historic, so old, so beautiful in its architecture. But not only that, like, on the night time, there's all these clubs. But they're not big clubs that you would think with big entrances and everything. They're all, like, hidden away. I went into this one club that I swear to God was a doorway. It was a door. It had people hanging around outside the front of it. And I was with some friends, some Polish friends. And they were like, come with us, we'll show you this place. And it was a doorway, not a single sign to say this was a club. I didn't know where. I trusted them, and I didn't know where we were going. And we went in, and you go up these stairs, and when you went up and you went through this door, it just was there. This just massive club, and that apparently is the main entrance to this club. It's just everyone knows it's there. It's always been there. They don't need a sign. Everyone knows it's there, and it's down this alleyway. I think it was called Insomnia, and yeah, you kind of went in, and it was just this massive hall, this big space, and like there was DJs, and like you had the bar, and it's incredible. But that was like, you wouldn't have known about it unless you was there with people that knew. And a lot of the bars are great. The food in the restaurants is amazing. And they've got like chain places as well, you know, but they've got a lot of independent places. So yeah, I don't want to start swooning about Poland for no reason. But yeah, it was amazing. If you get a chance, it's a brilliant place to go. But I mean, you do hear that about places like Croatia and Bulgaria and places like that in Europe that maybe you don't know so much about, or I didn't, still don't. But I was just fortunate enough to have some Polish friends that kind of knew. And you know what? I honestly think if you go to a place and you know someone there, you are going to have the time of your life. You're going to absolutely have the time of your life. Like, if anyone was to come to the UK, right, and I was to show them around London, I could show you some stuff. I can show you some stuff. I can show you a bar where you have to go into the bar. You have to go up to the waiter, right, in London, and you have to say, can I see the mayor of Scaredy Cat Town? And the waiter will go, come this way. And he'll take you over to the fridge. And he'll open the fridge. And it's actually a staircase down. And you go down and it's a secret bar underground. And the bar is called the Mayor of Scaredy Cat Town. How cool is that? They're known as like speakeasy bars. You know, I think it was in America actually, back when you guys had, was it Prohibition? I think that's what it was, when for some reason you just decided alcohol was bad and you outlawed it. I don't know what you were thinking, but you were like, yeah, we don't like alcohol now. We're going to ban it. So you banned alcohol. So obviously people still wanted alcohol. So there was all these secret places to go. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink kind of places. And so this is based on that in London. And yeah, man, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I know tons of places like that in London. Well, not like that, but cool little things like that. And that's what I'm saying. You know, I think if you go somewhere where you know someone that's there that can show you around and show you these little things, you'll get so... honestly, I would love to go to New York. I would love to go to New York and meet up with someone that knows New York. I would love that. I would have the time of my life. Because I'd love to go to the Manhattan Center, which is where they filmed the early Raws. But I've been to New York, and I've done Empire State, and I've done... Unfortunately, it was Ground Zero at the time, like the towers... I can't remember what year I went, but the towers had come down. And it was just scaffolding that was around. And it was a good few years after. I want to say maybe 2006 or something like that. I was in New York. And so obviously you go and you pay your respects. Went to the Statue of Liberty, Empire State, Madison Square Garden, saw the Knicks play, Times Square. Do you know what I mean? I went to those places and it was amazing and I had a great time. But I would have loved to have met up with someone from New York who could have gone, This is where people hang out. Come. This is where you need to go, or this is where the Ramones used to play, or you know, this is CBGB, for example, which I never saw, but I know of it, like famous club where Blondie and everyone used to play in New York, and the Ramones and whatever. But I never went there, and never went for a drink in a bar, which I really regret. I'd probably have got beaten up, but do you know what I mean? Still would have been cool. Or I don't know. It's just so much that I would have loved to have done. I saw like Central Park and all of that, but yeah. There's a conversation and a half. Favorite late night host. Favorite late night host. Do you know what? I don't like James Corden. I don't know if that's weird. I've got an issue with British people because I'm not a big Drew McIntyre fan and I don't like James Corden. I don't hate James Corden. I was just never really into him when he was over here. So for him to go over there and become this big success, it's kind of like, wow, okay, cool. Fair play to him. Gavin and Stacey, his show was big over here. Very big. So he was definitely known before he went over there. We knew of him. But, his success over there has been incredible. But I do really like Stephen Colbert. I think Colbert is quite funny. He makes me laugh. So, probably Colbert. But, I don't know. I don't watch loads. I try to watch Colbert every now and again. I can't really compare it because I don't really watch Fallon or I don't know. That's a hard one to answer because I think there's a lot I'm missing out on. Whoo! There we go. You've really got into the psyche there of wrestling days. But yeah, if you take one thing away from this conversation, check out Poland. Right, what show do you watch on? What show shall we watch on Thursday? I can tell you that Royal Rumble has been victorious. There we go. Royal Rumble 2000 has won it. We thought that it was going to. It led the way throughout that whole poll. So it has been decided by you guys. We are going to be watching a Royal Rumble on Thursday. Wow. Let me set up the next poll. I was going to set it for an hour, but we're probably not going to be sticking around that long. So let me set it for 40 minutes. 40 mins. What should episode 5 of Wrestling Escape Pod be? What should episode 5 of the Wrestling Escape Pod be about? What should it be about? It should be either best factions. It should be best returns. It should be best theme songs, or lots of bests here. Best cash-ins. Probably hear Tommy crying about the failed Damien Sandow cash-in again. He was talking about that, wasn't he, on the last episode? Right, there we go, my friends. So, Royal Rumble 2000 we're watching on Thursday. And we've now got episode 5 being voted on. If you want to vote for what episode 5 should be about for the Wrestling Escape Pod, go over to @WrestlingEpod. Right. Dave's favourite Pringles flavour. I don't know, but I'm not really a crisp person, to be honest. I do like salt and vinegar. I'm really not a fan of cheese and onion. I've never liked cheese and onion. So I would say salt and vinegar. Vape Ross Vape says a flight to Poland right now is $2. It's good. I tell you, you'd want to go. The only catch with going to somewhere like Poland is you would never want to go there for a long time. I'm not saying that you could spend 2 weeks there, right? They've got lovely shopping centres as well, you know. I couldn't believe it. I went into this shopping centre, multi-floored shopping centre, beautiful centrepiece that had like this massive fish tank that went from the bottom all the way up to the roof, and you just had these fish swimming around. Everywhere was clean and fresh, and it was new, and it was just like the preconceptions I had of that country were just absolutely battered, like blown away. Do you know what I mean? You just kind of, I don't know why. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it's because, like, all the images that I've ever seen of Poland have always been, like, blocks of flats and very concrete. And, you know, you kind of feel that it's a bit worn and war-torn, maybe. You know, they've been through a lot of conflict. Obviously, World War II wasn't kind to them. They were occupied by Germany. And, you know, I'm not here to give you a history lesson, but they've been through a lot of drama. So you kind of think that they maybe wouldn't have these great places. And maybe they didn't, but they're certainly getting them now. And the history that they did have is still there. So they've got these beautiful old towns. And then they've got these new things that are being added all the time, like great shopping centres. They had this massive building as well that had been built. That was some massive skyscraper that they had just built as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on over there. Pringles, it's got to be Texas barbecue. Days, what are you most excited for at Money in the Bank, and who do you think will win? I'm excited for the Money in the Bank matches. I'm hoping that Aleister Black wins. I'm a big Aleister Black fan. I see great potential in him. And I would love for him to get the briefcase. I wouldn't have him cash in until 2021. But I'm a big fan of his. Big fan. So I'd like him to get it. And look, this might go against what people believe should happen, but I would give it Asuka. I think Asuka with the briefcase would be a lot of fun. I think she's been the MVP of the lockdown. I think, could you imagine, she's done a lot of dancing and all this and easy peasy. Can you imagine her teasing cashing in? She'd be brilliant. Just teasing it, just running down, teasing it, and then going, oh, no. Or so along. I just think she'd be a lot of fun. And I think that she deserves some sort of reward, some sort of push, given, you know, how great she's been. She was great on commentary. She's been great on promos. She got used on Raw, SmackDown. You know, she had singles matches. She did tag matches. She was at WrestleMania. She's done... I hope they go with her. I really do. I hope they go with her. Days, we've got a 3-story mall in Virginia. Amazing. Was there age restrictions at the bar? Yes. I think it was 18, but yeah, they have like the normal, pretty standard laws that we all have. Like, I think it was 18. I you know, it blows my mind. It's 21 in America, isn't it? I can't get my head around that. Cannot get my head around that. It is 21, isn't it? Can't figure that out. I think it's... I can't even remember what it is here, but is it 6? How old have you got to be to drink in the UK? I think it might... Is it 16 or 18? How old have you got to be age for alcohol? How the hell to spell it? Alcohol, UK. You've got to be... Here you go. Look, young people aged 16 or 17 can drink beer, wine or cider with a meal if it is bought by an adult and they are accompanied by an adult. So there you go. If you're 16 or 17 in the UK, you can drink as long as you're having a meal and you've got an adult with you. And it is illegal for this age group to drink spirits, even if it is with a meal. So you've got to have a beer, a wine. You can't have spirits, but, you know, get smashed on wine, guys. Yeah? So beer, wine, or cider. You can't have spirits. It's illegal for people under 18 to buy alcohol in a pub, off license, or anywhere else. Okay, so you've got to be 18 to just go out and buy a drink yourself. But you can drink from 16 and 17. I've got to tell you, I remember leaving secondary school at 16, going to a pub with my friends and drinking cider without a meal or an adult. Like, we would be at college at the age of 16. So in the UK, you would finish high school at 16 and then you would go to college. It may be the same in America or Canada. I'm not sure. But here, you go to primary school when you're 5. You leave when you're 12. And then you go to secondary school when you're 12. And you leave when you're 16. And then it's up to you what you do. You can go to college or you could go straight into work. I went to college, So I was in college for 3 years. So my education finished when I was 19. And then I ended up going to work for a music shop after being at university for 2 weeks. Long story. But I remember finishing high school. And I went to a pub with my friends. And there were some of the best times of my life, Because you'd be in the pub in Stourbridge, which is where I was from. And, do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to remember that this is just a few months after leaving school. So at school, you would start at 9 in the morning and you would finish at 3:30. Well, at college, you don't have those kind of days. Like, on a Monday, you might go in for a couple of hours, and that's it. That's it. And then on a Tuesday, you'd have lots of homework, but actually having to be there, you'd only have to go for a couple of hours. So can you imagine what it's like to be a 16-year-old who, for the first time in your life that you can remember, you've gone to school, you're done, and it's lunchtime. It's the best. It's one of the best times of your life. It feels like the world is your oyster. It really feels like the world is your oyster because you're like, I'm done. But it's 12 o'clock. And you are. So we used to go to the pub. So the people I was in the class with, we would go down and we'd just start drinking. I mean, we never got totally wasted or anything, but you'd just go down and have a couple of drinks. And then maybe you'd go to the shopping centre, or maybe you'd go catch a film, or maybe you'd go back play some video games, or maybe you'd go back and play some football. Or, I don't know, there's a million different things that you might have gone on and done, but man, it's incredible. I don't even know how we got on. I don't even know what's happened to this stream. Not a clue. I had notes. This was wrestling. It stopped being about wrestling. Let me go. Let's talk. Let's make it wrestling again. Right. Let's make it wrestling again. Yeah. Let's bring wrestling back. Digital Spy. I want to talk about this before we move on to any other topics, because I want to round this off. Digital Spy said there are 7 things that WWE need to change, need to embrace if they are to move forward. Okay, so these are the things that Digital Spy have said, and then you can let me know what you like, what you don't like, what you agree with, what you disagree with. We can just start a little conversation on this. And then, obviously, I mean, we are running out of time a little bit, but I do want to definitely talk about this. Okay, so the first thing they said is that WWE need to learn from the Firefly Funhouse and the Boneyard matches. They've got to do more of those now. I think Vince has already said he's got plans to do that. So, I think that that's something that's going to happen anyway. But I think we would all agree that the Boneyard in particular was excellent. I heard that they weren't fans of the Firefly Funhouse match backstage. They didn't feel it was dark enough. That's just a rumor, okay? If I thought there was more to that story, I would have done a separate video on it. But so yeah, it's just rumor at this stage. Just something that I've seen circulating around. Right, next one. I'm not sure about this. The women's evolution needs to continue, and it needs to be 50-50. Okay? Now, the reason why I say I'm not sure about that is because I don't necessarily want it to be like based on gender. I don't want gender to be something that... I just want the best stories to get the spotlight. So if it's all the women are doing amazing right now, and then make it all about the women. Have it 100% women. If the women are knocking it out of the park, and you've got like 10 amazing stories going on with the women, and there's not really much happening with the guys, then give me the women's stories then, I don't want it to be about gender. I don't want it to be a case where it's like, right, the first hour is men, the second hour is women. Not that they would do it that way, but I think what they're saying is that there's still not enough time for the women, which I can understand that being said. I don't know. This is why I want your thoughts. Next one. I agree with this. Axe some of the belts. Yeah, get rid of some of the championships. So, they actually proposed. They had their own proposal as to what they would do. We've been talking about this on streams recently. I would be really tempted to have a Raw champion, a SmackDown champion, an NXT champion, and then one WWE champion. Get rid of the US belt. Gone. Get rid of the North American belt. Gone. Get rid of the Intercontinental. Gone. I know it hurts. I'm sorry. We have to move on. It can always come back, right? But I think having someone as the champion, imagine this, right? You could have Braun as the SmackDown champ. You could have Adam Cole as the NXT champ. You could have Drew as the Raw champ. And then you've got The Fiend as the WWE champion. Just one overlord. I want that one person to feel special, you know? And that one WWE champ can go anywhere. You do it for the men, you do it for the women. So you've still got titles on each of the brands, but you just don't have those mid-card titles. And I know that people are going to be saying you need the mid-card titles to build them up, but I would argue that they don't use those mid-card titles very well at all. I mean, look what they're doing with the IC belt. It hasn't built anyone up. Hasn't done anything. It's on Sami Zayn right now. It was on Shinsuke before. It doesn't do anything anymore. They don't know how to book them. They don't know what to do with them. So, I would argue that those mid-card belts just don't work at the moment because they're just not booking them very well. And I totally understand you could say, well, book them better. Yes, you could. Or you could look at changing the whole thing around. I think having a WWE champ and a Universal champ does devalue things because you can't have two top guys in the company. I think you should only have one. You should only have one. Because then Charlotte wouldn't have as many world championship reigns as she claims. Every time she wins, like the SmackDown women's or the Raw women's, it gets counted as a world title reign. She's like 10-time world champion now because she's won the Raw or the SmackDown title. I think if you had a WWE one, then you can claim that as the world one. But now that she's NXT champ, you know, that doesn't count as a world one. And neither should the Raw or the SmackDown. You can't be a world champion because you're the champion of Raw. Debate it. Right, next, they say, bin some pay-per-views. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of feel like they just need to make the pay-per-views matter more. One a month, I think, is okay. I think you need things like the Royal Rumble. You need WrestleMania. You need Money in the Bank. You need SummerSlam. You need Survivor Series. Well, there's 5. So, and then they've got 2 for Saudi Arabia, which is their big deal that they've got. So there's 7. So, you know, I mean, could you lose all the others? Potentially. But, like Elimination Chamber, that can be quite fun. I think one a month is all right, actually. I'm all right with one a month, but again, debate it. Next thing. This was a weird one, actually. Remember, no one knows, cares, or remembers more about the WWE than the fans. I think what they're saying there is, don't insult our intelligence. Don't start storylines and then not end them. Lana, Rusev. Don't think that we've forgotten about things that have happened in the past or are happy to just ignore, things that have happened in the past. Look at the success they're having now with Braun and Bray because it's all built on the past. So they've got this great story that they can tell. So they're saying maybe do more of that. Use more of that. Don't think that we don't remember what's happened in the past because we do. And I know there's going to be a lot of new fans that have joined, a lot of young fans that have joined, a lot of casual fans that are just tuning in. But you can bring them up to speed, like with that video package that they did. That's absolutely fine. But it would be nice to kind of play on that history more. And they kind of did that a little bit with Edge and Orton as well. You know, Edge and Orton, the build for Edge and Orton made that one of the biggest matches at WrestleMania. So I do understand their point there. You know, really base this on backstory. I think Mandy and Otis were similar because we know that Otis has had feelings for Mandy for a long time. So, and as wrestling fans, again, we were talking earlier, Otis dressed as Mandy in an NXT house show battle royal. I know that. I shouldn't know that, but I know that because I'm a wrestling fan. So, maybe playing on that more, which I think they are actually. Right, next one. Make wrestlers full-time employees. So they're saying, rather than having them and bringing them in as contractors, make them full-time employees. Because that will, I don't get how that really helps. It helps the wrestlers, I suppose. But I don't know how that's going to help WWE. But yeah, it's a nice thing that they should do. The final one, make house shows matter. Which I agree with. I think house shows should be made to feel more important. I actually said, you know, that they could even show a house show match on Raw or SmackDown. So that if you go to the house show that week, there's a chance that you might make it onto Raw or SmackDown. Do you know what I mean? Like that you might be seen in the crowd. Or something along those lines. Imagine going to a house show and they're like, right, guys, we're actually now going to record this next match for this week's Raw episode. So make sure to make some noise because we will be on Raw in 5, 4 countdown, something along those lines. Like if you were there, you'd be like, what? So there'd be a chance that your sign or you or, do you know what I mean? You'd be seen on Raw or SmackDown. Plus also then what happens in that match, because they're going to have to do something. They can't just have a throwaway match. So that could be quite interesting. And it could be like, we've got some footage from a house show. They could really bring it into storylines a lot more. So, yeah. I'm not saying like title changes. I don't mind the occasional one. I wouldn't really increase that too much, but... yes, they should make house shows matter. Like, they could do stuff on house shows and make it look important on the house shows, says Monica King. Shout out to Yusuf. Hope you are well. John asking, do we watch Grimm's Toy Show? I don't really, to be honest. I'm a big fan. I mean, I know that sounds weird. But what I mean is that I've got respect. I've got a lot of respect for Grimm. So when I say I'm a big fan, I mean I watched his figure videos when I was first starting. But I've said many times, you know, when you are a creator of content yourself, like with these streams or theory videos or toy hunts or whatever it might be, it takes up your day. It takes up your day. So rather than me watching to find out what other YouTubers think about things that I've already seen, I have to use my time to watch things I haven't seen, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? People ask me all the time, are you a fan of Wrestle Talk? I don't get a chance to watch because the limited time that I have, I need to be watching other wrestling I've not seen. For example, as I said, I've been watching some of those episode 1 Beyond the Ring, Dark Side of the Ring. So, series 1 of that has got things like Gino Hernandez and what happened to him and his death. And I hadn't seen that episode. And I hadn't seen where they speak about the Von Erichs from Texas. So I watched that episode as well. And so I watched that kind of stuff. There's a Nigel McGuinness documentary that I've not seen all of on the network that's on my to-watch list. So if I do get any spare time, I'm watching that. So I've got that I need to catch up with. So there's just lots. And also, we found the Crockett 1986 Crockett Cup. We found that on a stream the other day. It's on the network. the very first Crockett Cup. So I'd like to go back and watch that. So again, you know, you just like, I want to watch that because I'm going to see like so many wrestling legends that I might not have seen wrestle. I don't actually even know who's on that card, but yeah, I that's where I use my time. Days, I love that you follow everyone back on Twitter. I certainly try to. Yes, I certainly try to. Wrestling Days, a meet up in a pub with a beer and wrestling combos and debates. Well, fun fact, I mean, whenever I used to go to the pub and have a drink with my friends, we would never talk wrestling because none of my friends were into wrestling, and this has been my problem my whole life. It's been something that I've been into on the side, but it's always been something I've had to enjoy largely on my own. Do you know what I mean? Just like watching. It'd be like, say I would meet with my friends and have some drinks. Say if they were busy, they were like, one's going out shopping with their folks, one's going off with their girlfriend or whatever it might have been. And so it ends up I'm just going back home that day. You know, there's a chance I would have gone home and I would have put on some sort of WrestleMania. And I would have just sat and watched a videotape, or I would have watched the best of, because I had a lot of the Coliseum home videos. So I had like the best of WWF 1993, best of 94. I had a videotape all on the British Bulldogs and just stuff like that, you know. I mean, there was no internet, there was no network back then, so all I had was videotapes, or I don't even think DVDs were in then. So I don't think I had any DVDs. So yeah, I would have gone back and maybe watched some or played a WWF game, but it was always something I did on the side. Mr. Tacos, shout out to you. Yes. Oh, we are running out of time, aren't we? How long have we got on? We got 16 minutes left. Oh, this is a little closer on this poll. Little bit closer, but there we go. Best Returns is in the lead at the moment. Best Returns in the lead. We've got 16 minutes left on that. Dave's funniest moment, the DX mini court. Okay. Well, do you want to move on to that? Has anyone got any thoughts on those before we do move on? Anyone have anything in particular that they wanted to chime in on in regards to those talking points? Learn from the Firefly Funhouse and the Boneyard. The women's evolution. Getting rid of some of the titles. Binning some of the pay-per-views. This is a weird... Remember, no one knows, cares, or remembers more than the WWE Universe. Make wrestlers full-time employees. Make house shows matter. I'll try and get to them, Sonny, but I might be running out of time. Titus. Oh, hang on, let me jot these down. We're running out of time. Okay, so Sasuke 100k says Titus O'Neil vomiting on Zeb Coulter's head. Boom. The Rock sing. Okay, it seems like everyone wants this conversation. The Rock singing to Vicky Guerrero. Day's funny moment. Dean Ambrose overreaction to the super kick versus Dolph Ziggler. Do you know what? That's actually reminded me of another one. Dean overreaction to the super kick against Dolph also reminds me of Sean's overreaction to his match when he took on Hulk Hogan at... do you know what? That would be a really good watch-along. SummerSlam 2005. Do you remember I was talking earlier about how the summer of 2005 was like a really good one for me? And I was just talking about how like went to like loads of little gigs and stuff like that. One of the wrestling moments from 2005 that I was actually at, this is a true story, I'm going to tell you another true story. In 2005, I'd broke my ankle, and it was in a cast, and I was actually on crutches for a couple of months. And I decided to get away from it, and I had a girlfriend. I'm not with her anymore, but I had a girlfriend at the time, and we went to this. It's called Butlins, right? So it's like this holiday park. So you go there. They've got like a room, but they've got like an entertainment area. So there's like an arcade, there's a cinema, there's bars. Actually, WWE do shows there as well. Whenever they come over, they tend to do Butlins. So it means that you can go, stop in a room, and you literally just like walk to the entertainment place, and then you can watch WWE and then head back. It's quite cool. And they do lots of different things like that throughout the year. Well, they were doing this like cheap deal, so I ended up going there in 2005, and I watched SummerSlam '05 in the bar because they were showing it in Butlins. And I remember watching Shawn versus Hulk Hogan, the main event. I had my leg in plaster, and I was in this bar drinking. It's like a theme of my life. And yeah, watching that match. And that's just a really great, I was having a great time. Do you know what I mean? I should have been at work that day, but I couldn't because I was off because I'd broke my ankle. And instead, I was just at this holiday park, drinking, watching wrestling. I mean, that's living the high life. Not quite the high life. Obviously, I didn't need my leg to be in plaster, but... William says, I'm a closet wrestling fan. Days, I have 3 unpopular opinions. Do you want to hear them? I'm probably already typing. Type away. Shinsuke pretending not to be able to speak English. No, speak English. Let me try and answer those Sunny Wolf ones. Final ones, Sunny Wolf. Here we go. Do you draw or paint? No, I can draw. Not amazing, but if I drew some, you should be able to make out who it is. Let's put it that way, right? So I feel like I can draw. Okay, by no means am I any good, but I can get by. But no, I don't paint or anything like that. You really do think I've got way more spare time than I have. Would you like someone to draw or paint you stuff? I don't know. I haven't really gotten... I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. Would I like someone to draw or paint you stuff? I don't have a need, I don't think, for it. If people want to do it, that's absolutely fine. Favourite hat? I don't have one. I literally just have a few beanies that I just chuck on. Have you ever heard of toe socks? No. Are they literally just socks that go over your toes? Or are they socks that don't go over your... No, I've never heard of them. Are those socks that each toe goes into an individual thing? Are those toe socks? I've not heard of them, but I know of them. And what was your last one? Favourite car? I'm not a car person, to be honest. I have no interest in cars. My brother, who's 6 years younger than me, loves them. Can tell you all about them. Knows all about the engines. Used to take them apart. Used to work in a garage. Has had multiple cars in his life. So he got all the car genes. So he likes cars, can't stand wrestling. I like wrestling. It's not that I can't stand cars. I just don't care. I think that does nothing for me. So I can't tell you anything about cars. So that's going to let you down. Sonny says, yes, those are toe socks. Boom. The Rock imitating The Undertaker. And Triple H and Shawn. Hang on. The Rock imitating Undertaker and Triple H. Shawn as Vince. Yes. I'm going to write that down. Monica King. People imitating. So, Rock as Shawn. Rock as Undertaker. Shawn as Vince and Shane. I saw Kane. Kane actually was a video on Twitter of Kane pretending to be The Rock and Hogan. He doesn't dress as them, but it's quite fun actually, because at the time he's got the full mask on, and they're doing a 6-man tag, and so The Rock asks Kane if he's ready, and he starts replying back as if he is The Rock, and then he turns to Hogan and he goes, "And what you gonna do, brother, when Kane and his Kanites run wild on you?" And he goes full on, like doing an impression. It's really fun. I saw it doing the rounds on Twitter earlier today, and I thought it was very good. The Taker Rooney is the funniest moment, says Cameron. Bobby Lashley's sisters, they weren't funny, dude. They weren't funny. They were tragic. They were moments that we're all trying to move on from. Dave's funny moment, Brock Lesnar's scream at WrestleMania. Titus falling under the ring, says Miss Clownwob. Dave's funny moment, Brock scream at... I can't remember which one. I can't remember a scream sticking out. Here we go. WFS Wrestling says, unpopular opinion, Big Gold is ugly. The Fiend character is dead. And Asuka is overrated. Ready for a bit of hate. I actually don't hate you for any of those apart from the third one. The third one is the one that upsets me the most. I genuinely think she's one of the best in-ring competitors. I think that she is very skilled in the ring. I think she's an excellent wrestler. She might be the best female wrestler that WWE have ever had, in my opinion. Just seeing, like, some of her transitions. The one that I love that she does is where the opponent comes off the rope, and as they're running towards her, she jumps up, grabs the arm, flips over, and has them down in an arm bar. I mean, don't forget, like, literally a second before, they were coming off the ropes, and, like, a second later, they're not only on the floor, but they're in an arm bar. Like, it's incredible how she can do, like, that. It's incredible. So, I mean, that's just one of her kind of transitions, one of her sequences that I absolutely love. But I think she's very hard hitting. I think she's got a lot of skill in the ring, and I think now that they're starting to bring her personality out more in her promos, sky's the limit. So I don't hate on you for any of those. Apart from that third one, you better take that back. He said, unpopular opinions. You can't say Asuka is bad without getting a massive nose. You can't say Asuka is bad without getting a massive nose. Cool. I'm trying to work out who is supporting these theories. This is your life. This is your life. Mr. Socko and Yerpul the Clown. This is your life. It's a good shout, Sean. This is your life. Not the Bailey one. The Rock one. We are talking about funny things. I've got it, Coaster Maniacs. DX Mini Court. WrestleMania 29 versus Triple H. Brock tried to Raw, and it was hilarious. Oh, I've blocked that whole match out of my mind. I can't even remember that match. Honestly, I can't even remember it. I just remember that Triple H won, and I couldn't understand why. Hello, Eric. Hello, Insiders. The Muscle Man Dance segments. Pull up your pants to the Muscle Man Dance. Make sure that you're dropping a like on the stream as well if you've had some fun today, because we are going to be around for about 5 more minutes. And then we are going to say, fare thee well. we are going to bid adieu because, 5 minutes. We've been around for just over 2 hours. We've got about 5 minutes to go. There's 3 minutes. If you have just joined us, we're voting. We've already voted on what we're going to watch on Thursday. Congratulations to Royal Rumble 2000. Royal Rumble 2000 will be enjoyed on the Wrestling Days channel on Thursday. We're now voting for what episode 5 should be about for the Wrestling Escape Pod. And you can see on there that it is very, very close with just minutes to go. It's either going to be best returns or best theme songs. I mean, it could be best factions or best cash-ins, but you would think it's going to be either best returns or best theme songs. If you want to vote, then jump over to Wrestling ePod and vote over there. Santino giving the Cobra to himself was funny, says Walid. Wrestling Days fan says, don't go. Don't go. Hey, look, this is a Sunday night faff around, and my motto has always been, leave people wanting more. And I've never achieved it, but if we can get close to it today, that'll be a big deal for me. That'll be a big, big deal for me. So this will go down as a historic stream. Does that mean I can ask round 4? No. Take a Rooney. Funniest moments, Shockmaster and Santino as Santina, says James Chadwick. Gustis Cool says, I hope it's best returns. Miss Clown 1 says, R-Truth climbing the ladder in a non-Money in the Bank match. Well, I should imagine, Miss Clown, that R-Truth will feature a lot because he really has been the MVP in the world of comedy for WWE. So R-Truth climbing a ladder in a non-ladder match. What was that? Was that in a Royal Rumble? I feel like he might have grabbed a ladder and set it up in the middle of the ring during a Royal Rumble. That was fairly recent, that one. Ben Russell, shout out to you. Days, who are the best masked wrestlers? Who are the best masked wrestlers? Well, that could be a future topic, my friend. Obviously Rey Mysterio would be in the conversation. Al Santo would be in the conversation. Blue Demon Jr. would be in the conversation. Ultimo Dragon, Jushin Thunder Liger. Feel like those would be the top tier. Steph falling down the steps after arguing with Shane, says Nails and NY. Steph falling down the steps. Our Truth segment says, Waleed, yeah. Stone Cold with the bedpan in the hospital. That was fun. Stone Cold. Make it sound like Cluedo. It was Stone Cold with the bedpan in the hospital attacking Colonel Mustard. Funniest moment ever is Linda. What, when she rises up? Right, Wrestling Escape Pod episode 5. Best theme songs. So, I'll tell you what I'm going to do on that one. I'm actually going to try and go back and find out who had the first theme song. So, we will spend the majority of that episode talking about what we think are the best. But I will try to give you a little bit of backstory on theme songs. And I'll try and give you some information and some fun facts about theme songs as well. I do know of some off the top of my head. I think Gorgeous George was the first to have theme music, but I'd have to double check that. I also think there was another wrestler other than the Macho Man that used that match. Is it Pomp and Circumstance or something it's called? I can't remember what Macho's theme song is called. I think it's called Pomp and Circumstance. But I know of other wrestlers that have used. It might have been Gorgeous George. Do you know what? I'm not going to do it. I was going. It might be that Gorgeous George used the same music as the Macho Man, and that's the fact I've got in my head. But I'll have to research it. So, we will discuss best theme songs. Little Jimmy, yes. Bedpan, yes. Friendship, love and hugs to you, Sonny Wolf. Should have taken my suggestion. I haven't heard podcasts about them. The Freebirds. Who had Hogan's theme first? What, the Real American theme? Only Hogan, as far as I know. Was it not made for him? I thought Real American was. Oh, I don't want to search now because we're towards the end of this stream. But no, let me look. I'm not going to leave you hanging. Let's have a look. Real American. I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. Real American. Real American is one of the most recognizable songs in American culture. Written by vocalist Rick Derringer and released on the 1985's The Wrestling album. Head honcho Vince McMahon and Cyndi Lauper's boyfriend David Wolf were the brainchildren behind it. It helped thrust the sport further forward. It was never released as a single. Derringer bounced around songs with Barbra Streisand. One of the songs... What? Derringer bounced around guitar solos for Barbra Streisand and wrote songs with his partner at the time. One of the songs that he wrote was Real American. That's amazing. This is amazing. We were really proud Americans and we wanted to express that in the song. So they wrote the song. It ends up on the Wrestling album. Opening is so iconic, but how does it end up getting given to Hulk Hogan? 1983. This is why this is a really bad thing, an idea for me to do, because I have to sit and like read this stuff, and I can't read and relay the information at the same time. I'm just not that level skilled. That's next tier YouTuber, and I'm just not there yet. So I'm gonna have to read this. But I tell you what, there is an absolutely fascinating article that I am gonna share on Twitter. Let's go to Twitter. There we go. Okay, if you go to Wrestling Escape Pod, okay, Wrestling E-Pod, then that is the article all about Real American. And I will tweet that out for you now so that you can enjoy that at your own leisure. Leisure, my friends. Leisure. IRS used it. IRS was not around before Hulk Hogan. IRS was a character that came later, so he might have used it after Hogan, but he couldn't have used it before. Unless it was Mike Rotunda. Do you mean, did Mike Rotunda use it? Was Mike Rotunda even in the WWE at that time? Oh, I've got more questions here. IRS, Bray's dad had it first. I've not heard, unless you're talking about Mike Rotunda, but the IRS character came like end of the 80s, so it's not IRS. Made his debut in 81. Oh, I've got to look back into this. Joined the World Wrestling Federation in 84. As part of the US Express, won the tag team championships. but then left and went to the AWA in '86. I'll look into that. Rotunda and Wyndham are Bray's dad and uncle teamed in the mid-80s. They did. It was Gorgeous George that first had theme music. I thought so. Did you see the riot last week? What riot? What riot? What you on about now? I don't know. I'm gonna say no, but I might have. Read Nail's comment. People are just telling you the name they know. So we think it was the US Express. Fair play. There we go. Nice fun fact then. Shout out for that. So US Express, apparently using real American before Hulk Hogan. So which I didn't know. That's a fact that I wasn't aware of. US Express, we did talk about it before. Can't remember it. If I'm just being honest, my memory on certain things like that it is very passive. The problem is with me that, and I should imagine a lot of people are similar. If I'm not reinforcing it, then it comes and goes. Like, it doesn't stay in my long-term memory. Like, I have to. It's kind of like if I watch one match of someone, and then a few months later someone asks me about them, I could tell you I'd never seen a match of theirs. I'd have to watch quite a few of their matches to retain the information. I don't know. Perhaps it's because I'm getting older. I don't know. But there we go. US Express. Sexy Kurt segment was hilarious. Yes. R-Truth segment with Brock Lesnar earlier this year. Do you know, it's funny you should say that. I did see it on Twitter. Someone played it again where he came down and he announced himself for the Royal Rumble. And then he unannounced from the Royal Rumble. So, yeah, that was doing the rounds. Just earlier today. Hogan's theme is the most iconic. Yes, well, as I said, I'm definitely going to do some research on that and try and give you some facts and figures. So it won't just... Because what I don't want is I don't want to just sit there and go, these are what I think are the best themes, if you know what I mean. Plus also, actually, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare because I don't know if I'm going to be able to include the theme music. Because if I include the theme music, there's a good chance that it's just going to pick up strikes and things on YouTube. So as a topic, I'm not going to lie, that is going to be a tricky one. But I will go back and try and find some facts and figures and things so that I can make it as interesting as possible. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But it is definitely going to be a challenge. Days for the best masked wrestlers. You forgot Kane. Kane. I'd include Kane in that, yes. I can remember talking about it. I just can't remember where. Oh, don't worry about it. I can't even remember talking about it. So, as I said, I have one of those memories where I have... It's the same with like wrestling moves. If I see a wrestling move once and someone says that's a thunderbolt suplex, unless I see another thunderbolt suplex on a regular occurrence, I'm not going to remember that move and that name. I'm just not gonna. Like, I don't have that kind of a photographic memory where someone can tell me something at once and I'll just remember it. You have to kind of like drill it into your head. Very similar actually to like if someone was to say to me now, I'm trying to think of it. See, this is how bad my memory can be. If someone was to say to me now, Shawn Michaels faced Marty Jannetty at WrestleMania, he didn't, right? But if he had, what WrestleMania was it? If I'd only seen that match once, I would struggle to tell you what WrestleMania it was at. A lot of my information is because I've seen a lot of these shows multiple times, or I've done videos that have referred to them multiple times. I might have spoke about a WrestleMania match because it's had a figure made of it. Or it could be that it was part of a video I did on Shawn Michaels. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, there could be a million different reasons as to why I've had to revisit certain matches. But, yeah, I have to kind of drill things in. Days, you owe me $50, but you just forgot. Oh, did I? Again, unless I drill it in, it doesn't stay. Happy birthday to Beaver Cleavage. Oh, happy birthday, Beaver Cleavage. Waleed says, unpopular opinion, the Revival are overrated and boring. Well, that is going to be unpopular. Nails saying, Days, does the podcast have to be WWE or other promotions? Because Tripper T watches others. No, the podcast can be anything. And in fact, we did touch on, I mean, Triple T will do it more than what I will, which is why it's great that he is part of it. But when we spoke the other day about most disappointing results, he included Samoa Joe example from the Indies because he was there and he saw those and he was disappointed by them. So no, he will throw anything in. I obviously will refer to what I have seen and what I know. So I'm going to be talking more about WWE. I could include AEW. I've seen AEW if I felt that it worked. Or I could include New Japan. When we're going to talk about best matches, I will include Okada and Omega because I love that series of matches. I really enjoy. So no, it absolutely does. It's the Wrestling Escape Pod. So we could do a whole episode on Impact. We could do a whole episode on New Japan. We could do a whole episode on Stardom. But I think it'd be nice to kind of get some big general themes out there as it's kind of really finding its feet. And then like once it's kind of up and running and people are, into it, then we can start going, right, let's do Stardom. Let's do indie wrestling. Let's do whatever it might be. But no, I'm as you've seen, I'm open to letting you guys just vote and doing it that way because I think that it's important that you are getting the kind of things that you want. And I'm going to try and do that for you. So this week we've got funniest moments on Friday. I can tell you this is... Oh, no, I've just thought of a big problem. You remember how we were sitting here saying on Tuesday we've got the Triple H WrestleMania moments and all of that kind of stuff. I can't do that because that's when it gets recorded. We record the Wrestling Escape Pod on a Tuesday night. And that's the latest I can record because I need as much time as possible to edit those videos. I didn't even think about that. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. That means that tomorrow we're doing a Raw stream. Tuesday we'll do NWA. Tuesday night I can't do anything other than record the Wrestling Escape Pod episodes. Wednesday, NXT AEW. Thursday, Royal Rumble 2000. Friday, SmackDown with the next episode of the Wrestling Escape Pod airing straight after. And as I said, I need the Wednesday, Thursday to edit those shows. So, do you know what? It's a good job we had this conversation. It's a good job we had this. I like to try and present myself as a very organised person. But now you're seeing the truth. So, now you're finding out the secrets. That I'm not that organised because I was on the verge of actually streaming at the exact same time I need to be recording the Wrestling Escape Pod. So this is what I'm saying about time. Honestly, this is what I mean about time. And then people turn around and go, do you watch Cultaholic? No. New Japan has hit 400,000 followers. Amazing. Right. We're done. We are done. We can sit and we can ramble in rabbit away till the cows come home. There are no cows. They're not coming home. So I think we are done, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to everyone that joined us. Thank you for helping us decide what the future topics are going to be. We know what the watch along is. We know what we're going to be doing for the Wrestling Escape Pod. We've spoke about the news. We spoke about rumours. We spoke about those 7 big talking points. I've got some of your funniest moments. We covered a lot, man. We covered a lot. It's been emotional. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a faff around. That's what it's been. It's been a good old Sunday night faff around. And I hope you enjoyed it. Awesome, my friends. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate the support. If you're not subscribed to the Wrestling Escape Pod YouTube channel, make sure that you do. Of course, we'll do another one of these streams next weekend so that we can vote on more watch-alongs and future episodes and all of that. So we will do another Sunday or Saturday night faff around next weekend. I don't know if it'll be Sunday or Saturday. It'll be one of them. So we will do this again next weekend. Awesome, my friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.